math, these patterns reveal themselves in the most incredible form. It's quite beautiful. It's like a painting, I think. Only imagine it is with colors you cannot see.
Mathematicians won the war. Mathematicians broke the Japanese codes and built the A-bomb.
Who among you will be the next Morse? The next Einstein?
I also put an advanced Fourier system on the main hallway chalkboard. Now, the person to do so will not only be in my good graces, but also go on to fame and fortune, have their accomplishment recorded and the name printed. The auspicious MIT Tech.
Cosmologists write of them.
One single unified equation that explains everything that happens.
What's the equation?
That is the question.
The singularity systems. Keep going, develop the mathematics.
Great knowledge often comes from humblest origins. Can't be done, I'm telling you. Especially not by you. Stop!
Your theorem is wrong.
I have 2 years to live.
You will never understand the importance of what I am creating here.
It can. Sometimes it's the very people who no one imagines anything of who do the things that no one can imagine.
So what next?
Single equation with time.
But there should be no boundary to human endeavor. We are all different. While there is life, there is hope.
We are merely explorers of infinity in the pursuit of absolute perfection. We do not invent these formulae, they already exist.
I like her numbers.
Let's get the girl to check the numbers. I mean, if she says they're good, I'm ready to go.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Glad to see you guys here. This is a high-tech pilot, a show that talks about the technology and to review what the Chinese Communist Party has done to the world, especially in the high-tech sector. So I'm your host, Liang, and I have a lot of friends with me today. First, welcome, Maple.
Hi, Leon. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. And Lakeman, KOCCP, and the Farm Sister. And also we have Brother Great. And I'm very excited to be here with you guys again. Thank you.
Thank you. And welcome, Lakeman.
Hi, good morning, Leon. And good morning to all the guests and audience. Or sorry, not all good mornings, good evening everywhere. Okay. And thanks for having me again to join this show today. I look forward to discuss the lawsuit details that haven't continued or finished last time. So we're going to discuss the details of what is the consequence between the Huawei and the CISCO. Yeah, before we continue, we want to say, and we also, this world should learn from this case. If you are a company or cooperated with a CCP's company, the national-owned company or even the military background company, think about it, the consequence. Thank you, Leon.
Okay, totally agree. Thank you. And next, how are you doing, QCCP?
Hi, welcome the audience from all around the world. Basically, we are also a team all around the world. We are in different time zones, so
yeah,
there is a morning, evening, even noon time. So it's great we come back again. This is already our second episode disclosing the vaccine of CCP in high technology areas. So hope we can give you some surprising truths. So you enjoy our show. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. And next we have a Great. That's right. His name is Great. So what a great name, Great. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. This is Great Farewell, and just call me Great, and I believe that's great. Thank you.
Okay, I hope you guys doing well today. So, and also special thanks to our live streaming support, Farm Stacer. Okay, let's get started. In last episode, we went through the US sanction on Huawei. And we also started talking about the lawsuit between Huawei and CISCO. And today we're gonna continue our journey and let's get started. So let's put on the first slideshow from Sister, and I'll let Maple to quickly review the lawsuit content from last episode. Maple.
Thank you, Leon. As we all know, that last time we reviewed the Huawei brief introduction and the sanctions by the U.S. government, and then we started talking about the lawsuit case between Huawei and CISCO. We put the link of the lawsuit and also, the CISCO sued Huawei that the infringement and also the code copy and stolen. So this is we're going to continue talking about this case because this case is extremely important for us to know what is between Huawei and Chinese company, Chinese military companies, and the Western companies, high-tech companies. What they are doing and how can they escape again and again from this kind of legal cases. And actually we can talk about the background lawsuit. As we all know that Huawei always claimed that our product is the only difference between ours and the Cisco's is the price. It's true, because they copied everything technically, and then the source code and the design. I heard a friend in the industry that in the early stage that when the engineers worked in CISCO, and then they join Huawei, they don't even have to be like trained. And then they can just work on the development or whatever the maintenance of the Huawei products, and I mean the IP products. So so everything is the same. So and this is also the logic of the most of the Chinese companies, you know. And then we will see for this legal case, there will be a, you know, there's the key points, the turning points, because everyone consider, oh yeah, Cisco, you are doing good and exposes what Huawei did. But then on March 20th, 2003, you know, a joint venture, JV, between Huawei and another US company, 3Com, you know, was set up and announced. And which is they are announcing to operate the business of R&D and the production, and also to do the sale of the 3Com's router products, IP products. So as we all know, the 3Com is at that moment is like a player, also one player, a main player of the IP products in early like 21 centuries. And the CEO of that 3Com testified publicly, you know, on behalf of Huawei, saying that, oh, Huawei did not infringe. And oh wow, with the background of the lawsuit between Huawei and Cisco, and now the 3Com, they are doing like this, which is a big hurt, you know, to Cisco and to the legal, I think the legal case, right? And then after that, on the same year, June, the court rejected Cisco's application, you know, for the order to ban the sale of Huawei products, and the court reject Cisco's proposal to ban Huawei from using their the command line and the similar products with the same coding software. So then there will be no surprise that in the end of this lawsuit is that in 2004, July, Cisco and Huawei, they reach the final settlement, final agreement that, you know, and then Huawei products will stop selling in the US, but they can still sell in the other countries. And yeah, in reality, Huawei won the case, you know, which is really a big surprise to everybody in the industry, right?
Yeah, Maple, actually, so I did some research for this case, you know, so it's interesting since on the papers shows, you know, Huawei said they only copied as you know, involved, their copying sense from the Cisco just involved a very small portions of their VRP router software. They said we only copied about 2% of your 1.5 million lines of code. You know, something comes in my right because you are a rich person, you have a big house. Now I just sift a little cents from your home, a little $10,000, which means it's not a theft. How about you guys think about
that's
this?
Their logic. Yeah, that's their logic.
When there's a research, wow, that's a really funny logic from the mind. You know, after that, they just said, okay, we're gonna try to delete all this code from our new version of software. So you cannot, you know, sue me against in the future. At the same time, as you mentioned, they started partner with another local company, 3Com. You know, we can discuss that later about, you know, one more thing caught in my eyes. I just want to say, you know, in this case, Huawei said one of this employee apparently obtained the Cisco software, you know, on their floppy disk in like 3 years ago, and from a Chinese man who hoped to work for Huawei. What I want to mention here, that is Huawei always push the fault to the individual employee who get involved. So for those Huawei employees, we want to call your attention. Be aware of your illegal activities. Either you want to do it yourself or supported by the Huawei. Just stop it. Don't do it anymore, because your behavior will destroy your reputation and your life as well. And also, Huawei will finally get punished at the end, sooner or later, right? Because all Huawei or individual employees' activity or your behaviors, you'll destroy this fair competition world. Yeah, that's mention I want to add up.
Also, one thing to mention, I recall last time when we are doing the Chinese talk show, like you mentioned that this joint venture between Huawei and 3Com, eventually, what's the result? They terminated the joint venture.
Yeah.
Business, right?
Yeah, just 3 years later, they terminated the end. And at the end,
so 3 years. That means 2006, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why I mention this, because on my mind, this is the trick or the old style how the CCP play the game. You see the time, right? The lawsuit between CISCO and Huawei actually happened early 2003. So that's after 2 months, Huawei announced this joint venture with 3Com. Then it just so happened the CEO of 3Com helped to testify that Huawei did not violate any copyright of CISCO to win some sort of win the case. Right? Eventually, they got the deal outside of the court, meaning no one is punished or sanctioned by the law. Right? So, an additional point that Lickman mentioned that 3Com back to 2003. Remember, what is famous for 3Com is the floppy disk, right? That time, just I forgot the 1.44 and 1.6, right? The size of the floppy disk. That time, I think now it's already exiting the market. No more such kind of flop disk. So if you consider link all these dots, you will easily to see the joint venture Huawei want to set up with 3Com is not for business. It's just for the case between Huawei and CISCO. That's why because we are the Chinese people, so we know how CCP cheating, even no matter it's partner or the Chinese people or the whole world, right? So this is the common way of CCP style. When someone is fighting with CCP will try to split the other side, right? So they make friend with some of the counterparty, and they fight with another part of the counterparty. So meaning, if someone is fighting with CCP will try to split you, right? So yes. they make fun with part of you, and that they fight with another part of you. So this is the way how Huawei deal with this lawsuit with CISCO, right? So I think that's really some lesson we need to learn when as Lickman mentioned, any company dealing with Huawei, and on top of that, Lickman also mentioned, if there is some illegal actions, Huawei will say this is the individual let's say action, right, or performance of the employees. Not Huawei is not behind this, so the employee have to resign, right? So only the employee is blamed instead of the whole Huawei company, right? So this is always the way. If the employee working for Huawei steal something, then Huawei make a success. In this way, Huawei will never let's say, contribute the achievement with an individual employee, right? But when it failed, when some the bad behavior was disclosed, so Huawei will only blame the employee for this kind of misbehavior. So it's not Huawei. So meaning this is also the same way as a CCP. If you achieve something, this is because the party, right? The party make a great achievement. But if it failed, it's an individual's reason, meaning as some bad person, misbehavior of individuals that fail the party. It's not the fail of the party, but the fail of the bad guy, the
right.
individual.
Right. Yeah, totally correct. As Lakeman said that Huawei declared that we just copy 2% of the code and the software part. Ridiculous, It's for one handset. The core part is the chipset, right? The chips, and it's the weight, the space that occupy in the handset is even less than 0.1%, right? But it's a core part. If you steal this part, and then you have everything, because the others are not that important. So not only 2%, it's about the copy and the infringement. And also I remember the one news that Huawei sent several days ago that Huawei is gonna build a factory of the chipset with technology 12 nanometer, 12 nm, and at the same time, I remember IBM just announced that they announced a new technology of chipset 2 nanometer. So think about it. Huawei is still imagined or proposing their the setup a new such factory. So it's really a joke,
Actually, that technology gap is a 3 generation away.
Even more.
Right.
It's like 50 years ago.
Just be honest on this point. When we're talking about it in the chips, Huawei have no patents, no technology on this at all. So what they can get, they all just want to buy in from others or partner with others. That's all they can do.
So I have a question. About Huawei.
Great.
So Marco, that you just said that Huawei announced that they only copied 2% of the code. But my question is, how did they know 2% of Cisco's code? So if they able to calculate 2% of the code, that means they own 100% of the Cisco's code.
Good point.
Yeah. It's true, This is exactly the same way or same manner that CCP is doing to the whole world. They are talking like, oh my God, the whole universe is mine and I can do everything. But when you ask them what you can do exactly on this point and that point, what's the meaning? This 200 on that 10,000. They cannot explain to you. They say, "Oh, you don't know nothing. You don't know everything." So it's the same logic. They just talk blah 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 blah. But in the end, they have nothing with the core value, right?
Yeah, I just want to pick up the words from Great, because when they're talking about it, they know they only copied about 2% of their codes. Actually, they know exactly how many codes, how many total lines the codes are. There are 1.5, which means they exactly review each individual lines already. Maybe they do some modification for those cases, but for this 2%, it's hard for them to make any change, or whatever they try to edit it, it's still not working in their new system. That's why they have to copy it originally without change anything to their system. So they quote this 2% is copied, but for all others, I believe they reviewed each individual one and they do some modification. They're not capable of doing any new creative work at all.
Yeah, it's a shame, it's a shame. As a Chinese, we think that, even you said I copy one line of one product, I feel shame, but they say I just copy 2%, it's not that big deal. It's, oh my God.
Yeah, that's great. It's really great. He asked a very basic question. Basically, to me, it's always, if the Chinese netizens, they always have this saying of there's only two logic, the common logic and the CCP logic. So this question raised by Grid is really, this is the CCP logic. So you will see they just tell you something. Okay, 2%. From the first glance, it's really not a big deal. But exactly, Griffiths will ask a great question, right? How do you know this is 2%, right? Meaning you have to know what is 100%. That is the basis you computed for this 2%, right? So this is some pseudo logic, right? CCP always use this kind of change of the concept, make you, if you don't think about it, or not, let's say, would like to ask some logic, common logic or common sense questions, you will be easily fooled or cheated by the CCP. This is the CCP logic. They use the same way to cheat the whole Chinese people and cheat the whole world. So I think that is a very great point we need to share with our audience and the whole world, how CCP is playing their logic with the world, cheating the whole world. Just like the CCP virus, now this is a pandemic around the world. But if you use common sense to check, this is really ridiculous, similar as this 2%. Thank you.
Yeah. So, but when you do everything today and tomorrow you're gonna pay, right? So with the same for this lawsuit, we will see actually the impacts on different parties are also not the same. First we will see actually to Huawei, I can say it's 100% winner out of this case, right? Out of this lawsuit, because we still remember that during that moment, that years, Huawei promoted to all the carrier, their clients that, because they always ask, there's a lawsuit between Huawei and Cisco. Cisco is suing you about infringement, this and that. Huawei said, yeah, but we didn't do that. And then also, you see, Huawei and Cisco, we are the same level companies, you see. And then with this promotion and talking, for the clients to know, Huawei really is a very capable and but at that moment, Huawei's revenue was only like $2.1 billion in 2002. The same year, Cisco's revenue is almost $18 billion. You see, obviously it's not the same level players. And then Huawei with the low cost strategy and the sells such IP products in the carrier. They occupy the #1 market share very soon, after several years in the carriers. And this is you can say it's to Huawei, it's a positive impact, right? Mm-hmm. And to Cisco, actually in 2002, actually Cisco is really sensitive and they react to Huawei infringement. In 2002, Cisco established the dedicated Huawei working group, and then they try all means to block Huawei in the world because they know Huawei is stealing their technology and also copy their products and selling the similar products to take their market. So, and then At the same time, Cisco enhanced the internal management on the leakage of the technologies, to try to stop the stealing of Huawei. And then the result is that the Cisco still survive, and they are they are maintaining the leading position in this industry, IP products, and they have still number one market share on the high-end router products. So you see the Cisco survive this kind of the attack and this kind of a theft from Huawei, right?
Well, one question here, because you mentioned that after this case, Cisco was able to defend themselves for the U.S. market, right? Meaning the deal is Huawei. I believe this is for the router market, right? Cannot sell their devices or product in the U.S. So Cisco actually was able to defend their market in U.S., right? So, but this market basically, in their deal is only for the network. Let's say that the routers market. But if you consider now the situation, Huawei as you mentioned, the handset, meaning in the telecommunication market, basically Huawei still came back to U.S. market, right? Including the handset and let's say the towers, the telecommunication infrastructure, right? It's still network, but it's not before what Huawei and Cisco competing is the, let's say, like internet, right? The router and the cables. But then now is the 5G or 4G. Basically, it's kind of a change to telecommunication. But before the telecommunication is only, let's say, the difference is wireless, right? But underlying this wireless is still the network, the cable. So meaning Huawei after nearly 20 years is still coming back, take back the U.S. market, right?
Yeah, this is another level of the issue. I think Lakeman, you can give some comments.
Yeah, actually, you are completely right. Huawei never stopped trying to enter the U.S. market, just from different way, because they get problems with the consumer side, but they're trying to get the infrastructure side, which means from the core network side as well. As you know, that is even gonna create more problems if they really enter in that network. Correct? Yeah.
It's like I think the infrastructure of telecom products is one thing, and the device and mobile handset, even the software on the desktop is another thing, because for the carrier is like the bottleneck for all the mainstream data, right? If you get the equipment in the network of the telecom carrier, and then you have ability of monitoring and inspecting all the information going through.
Yeah, all the data flows you can monitor the entire process.
Right, but with the handset, yeah, of course, before the sanction, we all know that Huawei sold a lot of device handsets to United States, as well as another Chinese company, ZTE. Still the government controlled. And it's like the Zoom and TikTok. These are the application or the hardware handset used by the common people. But it's the Huawei and the CCP and even the military, they try to take advantage of this usage of the common people and steal their personal information. And this is another level of stealing and monitoring, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Another question I want to let's say ask is, since you mentioned that after this lawsuit, Cisco still maintained the leading position and #1 market share. Do you still have the number of this total market value of Cisco?
You mean the market share?
Yes, not the percentage, but in absolute value.
You mean value is what? Value of
in let's say US dollar.
Revenue? You mean the revenue?
Yes, yes.
If I remember correctly, the revenue of Cisco in 2021 is $39 billion US dollar. If I remember correctly.
But we need to go back to 2003 or 2004.
At that moment, it's like 19, as I mentioned. It's 19 billion. Because Cisco is only dedicated for this router products. Not like Huawei, they have a wireless product, router, and optical. They have like a software for application, and also they have devices. They have products for the industrial clients. They have diversified the solution product. That's why their revenue can rose that fast. But Cisco, they dedicate on this, and they have the leading technology on this router. It's different kind of player, I think.
Yeah, so far to just give you a updated number. So far to the July, the market values for Cisco is $51.6 billion US dollar.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah, I'm also trying to search. It seems it's very small. I'm trying to get their annual report 2004. It's saying their research and develop of only 3 million payroll tax of 16 million is.
You mean Cisco?
Yes.
Should be more than that.
I'm not sure if
more than that. 13 million is very little.
Yeah, but anyway, why I asked the question, because before the show, was the question on my mind is how Huawei, let's say, developed so fast. Also, I think last time we already talked about this 2003 law case with Cisco. So I recall Miles Wu used to state that in his broadcasting that, as you mentioned in the PPT, right, the bottom line is Huawei is PLA. So how to justify this Huawei is PLA? Because I'm working in the financial sector, right? So I'm looking also in the perspective of financial. So I got some numbers because Miles Wu mentioned that the China Development Bank, CDB, the Asia Development Bank called ADB, right? So the Chinese, the CCP also have a development bank called the CDB. The Chinese Development Bank, this is also a CCP owned. It's like called a policy bank. So back to, because remember the time is is critical, right? In this case, the lawsuit actually happened in 2003, right? And Huawei is not a listed company, right? Why it would not go public? It's because they don't need money. Why they don't need money? That's going trace back to the CDB, CDB, the Chinese Development Bank, their support to Huawei. Why I asked the question of the total revenue of Cisco back to 2004 is because that time, back to 2004, the Chinese Development Bank signed a memorandum with Huawei. In this memorandum, the deal is they will, in 5 years, that's from 2004 to 2009, they will provide financing to Huawei. The number. The number is 10 billion US dollar. 10 billion.
Right.
If you are telling me that the Cisco, the market share, the absolute value back to 2004 is only 19 billion. So the Huawei is guaranteed a 10 billion US dollar financing.
Right.
From
Kill.
CCP bank.
Right. So you are really talking about the key information. And what you said is Huawei is PLA. I think maybe most of the many audience that you don't know what PLA is. The people.
Yeah, why we are just saying the
army.
Yeah.
You know, it's army military in China, controlled by 100% by the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. And why we put the key message Huawei is PLA below in the PPT, because for sure we don't have the intelligence information, but Miles Guo, he has the top level intelligence from China government, because and he got to know that Huawei Ren Zhengfei, the founder, was awarded by the CCP government with the highest level of the contribution to the party, to China, to China. And then together with Ma Yun, Alibaba, and Tencent, the WeChat founder, Ma Huateng, and also the dead Zhang Shousheng is for the quantum computing. So this is a very confidential awards internally, in very small cycle, and we don't have intelligence, but this matches the what we have, what we know before. Most of the Chinese people know that Ren Zhengfei is from the army, right? Before he created Huawei, he's from the army, and also at that moment he got the appraisal and the awards with the technology advancement, like contribution of technology in the army. So all the information matches, and then for our common sense, Huawei is the PLA, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what the facts that's supporting our conclusion that Huawei is PLA. Common sense is back to 2004. You get finance support with $10 billion. Can you imagine any company, any private company can do that? Left behind, Ren Zhengfei, the boss of Huawei, have this military background. So basically, the common logic is the Huawei and the CDB, the China Development Bank, they have one boss behind the scene. Right. So meaning it's one person, it's the CCP. They have a left hand and right hand. So if they are fighting, they will use both hands, right? So the both hands work together, they support each other. So that's not surprising that the CDB will give this $10 billion support with Huawei. So that's enough to capture half of the CISCO's market share in US, right? So in this way, only in this way, Huawei have the fuel, meaning have the financial engine to boost their business, to get the market share, to fight with CISCO, right? Any company, let's say in the size of Huawei back to 2004, they cannot do anything to fight against the CISCO, right, without any strong financial support. So you will see why Huawei got such a strong, it's way beyond the strong support. It's just like one body, right? The CDB is working hand by hand with Huawei. That is exactly Miles Guo told us, right? The commonly any policy bank, they have a because I'm working in a bank, so I know that if you want to grant any, let's say, provide any financial support to any private sector or private company, it's very strict. You need to undergo strict due diligence, right? But for Huawei case, CDB, you can say there's a zero due diligence. Any money Huawei demanded, they will be provided by the China Development Bank. So only in such a way Huawei can can fight with the U.S. big tech company and win the market in such a short time. Even they are not directly fighting, competing in the U.S. market, but all around the world, they make money, they capture the market.
Chaos, I truly believe what you said is a real sense happens behind all Huawei and all national-owned companies that go globally. That is in that way, no other country, no other companies can fight with them at all because they do not have enough resources, they do not have enough funds to support them. However, China, in the China government, either we just call it government here, not even the CCP, they put entire their resources and funds to do whatever they want to compete other companies in the global market.
Right. As far as I know, in China, CCP, the only private company funded by the government or governmental state-owned banks is Huawei. All the other private companies are crashed, and by the CCP, right? The only Huawei get supported by the government like this. So it's really now we know that Huawei is the PLA and is a CCP company. And let's see. Let's come back to see this lawsuit impact on another player called 3Com. Actually, in 2003, Huawei and 3Com they established this JV, right? And then the CEO of the 3Com supported Huawei, saying that Huawei is not doing the infringement. And then in 2007, Huawei quit from its shares, and then sold it to 3Com. Then 3Com owned this JV 100%. But in the end, in 2009, 3Com was sold to HP, and then 3Com finished. From 2003 to 2009, 6 years, 3Com finished, and then with the Huawei gradually withdrew from the JV, and the 3Com technology, I think, was taken or stolen by Huawei more and more. And then, for the technology company, such the technologies and patents is the core, the blood of the company. If the competitor took your technology, you are done immediately, right? So the 3Com is like this, helping, and he trusted Huawei and thought that, like US companies usually work together and realize win-win. But this trust on Huawei brought the disaster to them, and we have so many cases in the industry with Huawei, and then in the end will be disastrous results.
Yeah, when you're talking about this, as you know, it's a very common way for a company to enter the international market, especially in the US, right? They start partner with a local company. For this case, they're partner with the local company 3Com. Why they do that? Because they believe, they can use their money, use the profit to attract those partners, and they use their partners' advantages, such as the partner knows their local regulation and the law. They understand the local customer and easily to dealing with the local government to get the license to enter the market, right? So, be frankly, as you mentioned, it's a very common way to enter this a new foreign market by partner with a local company, which is we call this a win-win strategy. However, Huawei is just want to use their partner, right? Use all the, the network, use their market channel, use their, get everything cleared, and then they get rid of the partner. So, not only Huawei, as mentioned, most of Chinese national-owned companies, they do the same way to enter the international market. As you said, there are many, many cases happened. We can discover more in the future.
Right. Now this is they are without any business, the moral business, right? Most of the Chinese companies are doing like this, and to me, for this legal case with Cisco, I can see clearly that the company can survive from the fighting against Huawei, and if the company choose to trust and cooperate with Huawei, the more trust, the deeper trust and cooperation with Huawei will be more disaster.
That's completely true.
Yeah.
So I have a question about 3Com. Because we just know about the cases between Huawei and Cisco, and if the Huawei is banned from U.S. market, and if Huawei has cooperate with 3Com later, if there's any possibility that Huawei could sell their products via 3Com's existing customer. So I think this is maybe a way that Huawei enter a U.S. market. Is that possible?
I don't believe so. This really depends on which situation, on what time. Time point is critical for this case. For example, when you start partner with Huawei before section that's happened, definitely you can sell anywhere you want. However, when the sections start functionally, they have to choose, they can start to track the choose where that's product from, which part. There are many things maybe you can do a short time with, but in long term, there are no way to do that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I read the interaction between in the tax room. The day after is saying this is all the Chinese people know this saying, right? The win-win situation. We talk about the win-win situation, right? As Lakeman and Maple said, win-win actually is a common phrase. We are saying if you partner with someone else, both sides get a win, right? So this is the win-win. So thereafter is saying win-win. This phrase of this word in CCP's dictionary, what's the true meaning? The meaning is CCP win 2 times, meaning win CCP first, win CCP again. So meaning any partner working with CCP will end with a fail. So I think that this is the conclusion we draw in this slide, right? All the Chinese people, all the Chinese company, they know this, but CCP is cheating around the world, making a fake idea of win-win, right? When they try to make a deal with you, but at the end, you will see only CCP win 2 times.
That's why the CCP is always interpreted these terms by their own way. That's why they broken the value, breaking the market value, breaking the common value that we always hold.
Meaning there is always a common rules of any market, right? So the rules existing in the market for maybe decades, right? But once CCP enter the market, they try to dominate any market they touch and break the rules just to make sure they win 2 times. So this is the Chinese style or their behavior always to any business, to any industry. So Huawei is just the tip of the iceberg. We will disclose more in our following episode.
Right. The same logic with the CCP and the military of the POA. The same. What they want and what they tell the world is, we're gonna cooperate each other. We win-win, and we grow together, and the cooperation, everything, all good things to the other parties. But in the end, what the CCP's intention? The first initial is really initiative intention is evil, right? So what they never think about the win-win and the benefits to others. They only think about how can benefit themselves and more control of the whatever industry, the control of the people of the world in the end to realize the evil control of everything, right?
Yeah, from this case, as we mentioned before, when they start to partner with 3Com and copies everything from Cisco and also selling back to the US market or global market, with one thing they're still using very low price and also claim the same quality. That's interesting words, lower price, the same quality. Why? Because they're saving the investment on the R&D and also saving those times that Cisco invested in this area. Otherwise, we can achieve that point. Otherwise, it's impossible for them to get a lower price and the same quality. No, it's a bullshit.
Right. Yeah, and also this lawsuit remind me, to me, it's the first time that Chinese company, of course controlled by the CCP, practiced the unrestricted warfare of the law against the American companies. Which is what exactly the CCP is doing against the Mao's war, right? In the U.S. now, as we all know, Mao's war created the whistleblower movement and the new federal state of China, and fighting and leading millions of Chinese people fighting against the CCP. And now the CCP is doing such unrestricted warfare, of law and of the personal finance against him. And what the Huawei doing or escaping from this legal punishment is the same. They cheated the 3Com. I believe the 3Com is cheated by Huawei from the beginning, right? And then. So it's a gate that the CCP opened, to steal the technologies from U.S. companies and from all over the world. This is the beginning.
Yeah, as you said, as I believe, for any company like a 3Com, if you are near site or just focus on short-term benefit or revenue, anything, you start partner with Huawei or any other CCP company, you will lose everything at the end. Once Huawei use up all of your values, such as the use of your network, your technology, your marketing channels, and then they will end the business with you and then leave you. And you will completely die because any of your competition's advantage, you lose all of them.
Right.
All right, guys. I think we have a lot of information today, which is really great. Before we're ending the show today, I want to make it more clear to our English speaking audience, because we say Huawei. Huawei was founded in 1987 by Ren Zhengfei, and he is a former deputy regimental head in the People's Liberation Army. And as mentioned by one of our audience a day after, the People's Liberation Army is not a people's army. It's actually the Chinese Communist Party's army. It's fully controlled by the CCP. That's why we say Huawei is fully controlled by the CCP. And the other thing is, in this lawsuit, Huawei used one of their employees as a scapegoat. This is the typical strategy of the CCP. I would say Ren Zhengfei one day, he will be the scapegoat for the CCP. Let's see that. And last, I want to mention that Maple mentioned that he felt shameful about what Huawei done in this case. I used to feel that way too, but I don't think we should do that anymore because we are new Chinese, right? We're all citizens of a new federal state of China. So the CCP never had never and will never represent us. So So we're new Chinese people, and our goal is taking down the CCP. So I think we're gonna stop here, and thanks for watching High Tech Pilot. And this is Leon, Maple, Lakeman, QCCP, Great, and Farm Sister. We are a team. Please subscribe our channels, and if you haven't done so, and also please share your opinion and leave your comments. Our show is every Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So again, CCP is the biggest threat to humanity. So let's take them down. See you next time.
Yes, take down CCP.
是勇士的民族，不屈的血在身上流。